have always been a melancholy side to Australia, understood only by those who know us well. And it's this that some Australians are now trying to change. Unfortunately, the search for an Australian identity has been taken over by the all-pervasive Australian media, which has created a thing called the ochre. On the surface, the ochre is simply the cousin of Alf Garnett and Andy Capp, a universal slob. But to the advertising industry, the ochre is the fair dinkum child of nature, living in the shade of the poker machine and a pile of coldies. Now behold the native ochre.
Hey, remember me, your old mate? Back off, Uncle Bill. I'll give you a buck off the regular price of spirits when you buy me own Uncle Bill's brand of whiskey, brandy, gin, vodka and white rum. I used to give you a buck off the regular price of the 2 dozen pack of the Curry's Coldies, and now I'm giving you $2 off. With Uncle Bill, you get a buck off twice. $2 off the 2 dozen pack of the Curry's Draft, Taggart, Crest or Colonial Old. Mate, if you buy your spirits or beer from any other bottle shop, I reckon you've solid ivory between the ears. Uncle Bill gives you a buck off the regular price of spirits when you buy me own brand of whiskey, brandy, gin, vodka and white rum. So duck off for your double buck off with 3 home delivery chucked in for good measure at any of Uncle Bill's grog shops. Ho, 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 and away you go.
John, what effect does that have on an Australian audience here? I mean, to hear an ad like that?
Well, to the majority of Australians, we get a kick out of seeing ourselves slightly exaggerated, but not too much, and sending ourselves up to a degree. Of course, the reaction of amongst the TV critics, academics and socialites and so forth is one of abject horror, because they have a tremendous inferiority complex as to the way that we in Australia speak. And unless you've got some sort of pseudo-Pommy or Yankee accent, therefore you're not a cultured person.
Does Uncle Bill, to you, is he representative of the average Australian, that sort of bloke?
Yeah. Yes, Paul is, he's actually the managing director of a large air conditioning company in Australia. And when we took over this chain of stores, they were called Liquor Supermarkets of Australia, which is eminently forgettable. So the first thing we did was change the name to something you could remember, like Uncle Bill's Sly Grog Shop, for want of a better name. And we thought, well, why don't we find an Uncle Bill? And Paul had to represent to me, having been to thousands of football barbecues, your average guy sitting around the barbecue with the steaks on, drinking about 100 cans of beer. Yeah. And when you're advertising duck off your buck off beer, it's no good going slow motion through the surf and pretty ladies and so forth and fantasies. You just need someone to tell you can duck off your buck off as quick as you like. And, mate, you go to any 10 Australian barbecues and I tell you what, there'll be 100 Uncle Bills there.
10 o'clock news on 3AW, reported by John Witt. Today's high forecast to be 26, fine, mild, sunny, predicts the Bureau.
The Claudia Wright Show.
Australia is the total media society, and radio is more important here than in Britain or even America.